They never supported all these policies that were so destructive. Now it's like, we all want to be like Florida all of a sudden.
Okay, stop. No one said that. No one said anything like that. Not gonna happen.
No.
You could put a bunch of monkeys on a typewriter for 1,000 years and we want to be more like Florida doesn't come up. What better time than our first official live show of 2022 than to bring back our beloved Love It or Leave It game, OK Stop. Please welcome two hilarious comedians, returning champion Jared Goldstein and the incredibly funny Holmes. Hello. Hi,
Whoa, it's a low chair.
It's a little low.
Wow, things got messy out here. I like that.
Now, I know you two haven't played this before, so I'm going to break it down. I should have gotten you both pens and paper. There are a lot of rules. We're going to watch a clip, and when you have something funny to say about it, you say, okay, stop.
Okay.
Perfect.
I do want to say, we got the video ahead of time and couldn't make heads or tails of it. There's a big political world out there.
It's a big, wide political world out there.
Yeah, I'm here to learn.
And I'm here to teach, so let's get started.
Let's roll the clip.
I think that the nod to Stephen Breyer, the retiring Supreme Court Justice, and his nominee, Ketanji Brown Jackson.
Stop. I just want to say, as someone who has chanted USA, 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 I think it's really fun and it's a perfectly thing to want.
And as a white person on stage, I disagree.
You don't think, as the Chiron says, that the adding of suddenly want to chant USA? So the Chiron says Democrats suddenly want to chant USA, USA. So it's like these fucking non-patriots. Then when we chant USA, they suddenly think they love America, these fucking fuckers. You know?
They're like, on July 4th, we want you to sit inside and cry. You don't get to celebrate. Come on.
Come on.
Here we go. Also, let's just say he's mad. Right off the bat, he's already pissed at her. He hates her. Let's just say that.
He hates himself. I think Tucker's face is very tight. Swanson, that's the man's been eating fish sticks every day for 50, 60 years. It's a diet of fish sticks that does this to a person. It's the devil's bargain of the Swanson fortune. Yes, he lives a life of privilege and luxury, but it's fish sticks every fucking meal.
The young kid who has suffers from the diabetes and needs...
Okay, stop. Has never said diabetes before. I'm sorry. Are you serious? She's like, he has depression, diabetes. That's all I have to say. Okay.
But again, even there was that missed moment for humanity, right? The president says, and it was his birthday yesterday. Well, then, clue. Sing happy birthday.
Okay, stop.
I just want everyone to imagine a world in which, in the middle of the State of the Union, one of the most watched political events of the year, besides a presidential debate or an inaugural, I mean, truly, we do not have audiences like this for anything. They stopped to sing in full, happy birthday to the...
Also, I love that she thinks when someone says it's someone's birthday, that's a big clue that we should sing. She's like, we got a hint. We have a hint at his birthday. I'm gonna guess it's his birthday. Whoo! And so here we go. Happy birthday. No, we've done it.
Is there any parts of it you did agree with that you heard?
I think I have to think about some of the stuff. Well,
Okay, stop. Just that isolated part felt very relatable to me. Like, even right now, I'm just like, okay, I'd have to think about a lot of the stuff.
I agree. If you think about what they've done, Fauci is in the witness protection program.
Okay, stop. So the question was there anything Joe Biden said in the State of the Union that you agree with? Obviously, that question came in, and it was like when the machine at the parking lot can't read this thing. It's like it's bent or something, and he's like, no, I can't answer that. So he had to quickly think, right? Because he knows that for his politics, which is being Trump, that he can't even admit, like, even if he says, like, the patriotic parts that the State of the Union is strong, standing with Ukraine, he isn't sure, because he doesn't have real politics, he's a fake, what he's supposed to say he agrees with. So he's reaching, and he's like, I agree with what Joe Biden didn't say, which is the exact location of Anthony Fauci.
They don't want him out.
Stop. Begging for a hug. Genuinely the whole speech. Genuinely, he's like, haven't been touched for, like, he's yelling at people for not wearing masks. The guy's lonely. He needs touch. I do a poem like the person about Putin. I'm like, if I was his mother. No, I would never. I'm sorry.
He also kind of looks like he's saying, my dick is this big.
If you listen to them, they never supported all these policies that were so destructive. Now it's like, we all want to be like Florida all of a sudden.
Okay, stop. No one said that. No one said anything like that. Not gonna happen.
No.
You could put a bunch of monkeys on a typewriter for 1,000 years, and we want to be more like Florida doesn't come up.
As someone who went to college in Florida, that was the worst chunk of my entire life, okay? And people who live there call the capital Tallahassee, like, not in a sexy way. That's like what they call it. They'll be like, yeah, I lived in Tallahassee. And it's like, you're not proud of it, Best thing is alligators. Sorry.
Tallahassee?
Best thing about the place is alligators, and that's saying a lot. Not because I remember I left for 1 year, came back, and my friend was like, oh yeah, this is the bridge where someone ate someone's face who was on bath salts. And I'm like, I don't want to live here anymore.
It's just so funny to watch that State of the Union and be the governor of Florida and be like, did somebody say Florida? Did somebody say everything it should be like Florida? That's what I heard in the section about inflation, I guess.
The only people who want to live in Florida are grandparents, and then still half the year they're like, Michigan sounds good.
Also, I will say right now, it sounds like he's saying, but sometimes my dick is only this big.
It's a really good point.
I'll be honest.
It's a really good point. He's being honest.
Human moment.
He got
Yeah.
a few moments ago, I
my God,
exaggerated about the size of my dick.
Yeah.
And I realized that I made a mistake.
Yeah.
It
Also,
is still the size of a podium, but
Yeah.
These two people who kept their masks on, heroes.
yeah. Good for them. He hates it.
Abraham Lincoln had a full-scale insurrection on his hands in the beginning of his administration. That wasn't caused by Abraham Lincoln. Everything bad that has happened over the last 14 months is a completely self-inflicted wound. Joe Biden is the Kurt Cobain of politics.
Okay, stop. We have to say something to that. Does anyone else have this experience?
He just means that Joe Biden is super sexy and has really good hair.
I am proud of him for blaming a guy. I didn't see it coming. Comparing it. Does you have this where when he starts talking, it feels like no words are there?
I just like a politics that's like everything bad over the last 14 months is caused by Joe Biden. But maybe what he was saying is that what he likes about Joe Biden is his kind of grungy indie vibe.
Yeah.
And the way he kind of speaks to the angst and sadness inherent to what it means to grow up, having the power of youth, but also not really understanding its power because you're too young to appreciate it. Maybe that's what he means. Maybe what he's gathering is like sort of Joe Biden evinces a kind of 90s both optimism, but it's kind of shallow, like there's something deep and wrong and missing, as if this idea that history is improving is a fundamental lie, and you know that in your bones, but everything is so cheery and acting as though history is over. And so you're stuck in this place where something within society is wrong, that like, no, we're not being treated equally. No, misogyny isn't in the past. No, this isn't the land of permanent wealth and opportunity we're told it is. No, that's not what this is. Something is broken and I need to sing about it. Maybe that's what he means. Let's see where he went with it.
He put a shotgun in the mouth of the American body politic and then pulled the trigger. And the brains are on the wall. Okay, The President of the United States is really, really bad at this.
He just meant suicide.
Okay, so doesn't really make sense at all. Like,
No.
okay. He's like, I want a president like Blake Shelton. No, I'm trying to think. This that clip out of the three clips makes the least sense to me.
It does not make sense. Backstage, I was asking Ezra for some advice and some help and what I should say. And Ezra was like, it sounds like what he was looking for was a murder metaphor, but he took a suicide metaphor. So he used the wrong metaphor. And now he's roasted.
Roasted.
Honestly, no. He seems like a good guy.
And that's okay, stop. So now it's time for gay news. We're gonna do one practice. So basically, in between each one, we go like this. Guy and argue it. Gay news. It's meant to be evocative of the kind of telegram sound, like the kind of beeping from like the 1930s ever news on the march, that they put in movies.
Also, in its way, it merges the two definitions of scat.
We're gonna go with Ella Fitzgerald's version of scat and Aretha Franklin's version of scat for this.
Yes.
Let us begin. Gay news.
Students in Florida staged a walkout in protest of the state's looming Don't Say Gay bill, with the protest organizer, a senior, getting suspended indefinitely for distributing pride flags after his principal warned him not to. Has this principal never seen a teen movie? You tell a teen not to do something, that makes the thing more appealing. If this principal has any sense, he'd be doing a rainbow roller skating dance routine at the pep rally. Then the kids would be back on vaping or skate shoes or whatever. I'm not young.
Gay news.
Drag Race Season 14 contestant Willow Pill came out this week in an Instagram post as trans, revealing that she received facial surgery in the fall, explaining that's why I have been looking so cunt. Congratulations to Willow Pill, both on your transition and for looking so fucking good.
Gay news. Facing scrutiny for donating to every sponsor and co-sponsor of the Don't Say Gay bill, currently rocketing towards Governor Ron DeSantis' desk for his signature in Florida, Disney issued a statement of support for the community Friday. The biggest impact we can have in creating a more inclusive world is through the inspiring content we produce. So Disney's position is they will fund anti-gay politicians and make up for it with two guys holding hands in the background of a dramatized live-action version of Space Mountain. Sure, they're claiming to support the LGBT community while funding its worst adversaries, but in a way, Disney is really acting very patriotic. There is nothing more American than funding both sides of a war. Gay news.
So speaking of Disney, Josh Gad says Disney's depiction of Beauty and the Beast LeFou as a gay character didn't go far enough. Josh went on to say, the point is, oh dear.
What did Josh say?
I went on prep for nothing. My publicist is gonna call me in the morning.
It's good.
Josh went on to say, that's why Olaf needs to start eating ass.
Josh went on to say, they wouldn't even let me fist Lumiere. And I just want to say before we move on from that, Josh gave an interview where he talked about the story about LeFou being gay and had a really poignant remark about the fact that it didn't go far enough and that getting a lot of credit wasn't deserved and we all need to be represented. It was a good statement and Josh was good for saying it. That's all I wanted to say about that. Anyway, gay news.
Yes. 10 civil rights groups demanded Texas's Granbury Independent School District replace 125 books yanked from their libraries for alleged graphic sexual content. So far, 103 have been returned. Weirdly, the other 22 seem sealed shut for some reason. And one of the 22 is my book.
Gay news.
Gay news. During the State of the Union, President Biden denounced recent state-level anti-trans laws.
For our LGBTQ plus Americans, let's finally get the Bipartisan Equality Act to my desk. The onslaught of state laws targeting transgender Americans and their families, it's simply wrong. And I said last year, especially to our younger transgender Americans, I'll always have your back as your president so you can be yourself and reach your God-given potential.
Even though there is zero chance I, Joe Biden, will ever master they, them, it is simply beyond me. I support you completely.
You just won't be able to get it. And that's okay. Gay news.
Gay news.
During his recent interview on Mark Maron's podcast, Sam Elliott railed against Jane Campion's movie The Power of the Dog. They're all running around in chaps with no shirts, the actor said about the critically acclaimed Western. There are all these allusions to homosexuality throughout the fucking movie. How could they do that to the beloved Western? There was a time in Hollywood when men were men, and you got dressed up in your costume, and you got your makeup done so you could do what men do. Eat a breakfast burrito from a truck, and then do 10 takes where you slap a prostitute for giving you lip. Now that's a Western. And I know a thing or two about the Wild West. I grew up in Sacramento and Portland. Unbelievable. Gay news.
Gay news. And finally, Jeopardy champion and my friend Amy Schneider. I did her Downton Abbey podcast 10 years ago. Check it out, it's very good. Got engaged to her girlfriend, Genevieve. Schneider said she was pretty nervous about popping the answer.
Yes! Applaud that joke, it's fantastic.
It's a good joke.
Before we go, I just want to say to everyone listening, we would love, if you love trans kids and hate Greg Abbott, go to crooked.com/tent and make sure it's all lowercase because that matters for some reason. That goes to support Trans Texas. It's doing great work to fight for trans kids in Texas. Let's try to raise some money for them because they're going to need the help.